Hello YouTube, welcome back. Chris here. It is freezing cold here in Chicagoland, and I am off to visit a friend of mine, John, who has a YouTube channel, John's Vintage Road Bike Garage. He's had this garage for a while, and I have yet to go out and visit it. And of course I picked today. It's freezing cold. -9 there. Even one of my tires didn't like it. It dropped to a real low pressure there. So we're gonna head on out there and show you what it's all about. Like I said, you'll be seeing it the first time as me, so pretty excited. All right, we're pulling up on it now. This is Iron Gate Motor Condos in Naperville, Illinois. This place is primarily designed to house high-end cars, and John is a bit of a car guy as well. But he has a beautiful bike collection here, so we're going to go on in and check it out. This place is really cool. They got a lot of awesome stuff in here. And we got to go find them. Like I said, this is the first time I'll be seeing the collection, so I've never been in here. But we'll go take a look. I think this is him. Hey, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Welcome.
This is John, John's Vintage Road Bike Garage.
Hey guys, how
We're
are
going
you?
to take a look around today.
All right.
And John has an awesome YouTube channel. We'll post that down below.
Thanks.
And maybe somewhere on this window too.
All right, terrific.
Oh, let's just hop in over on the wall here.
All right.
Hey.
I'll go first. Sorry for the cars being in the way. I can't pull them outside today.
Yeah, I already told everyone on here that it is -10 outside right now, and it is brutal. This is a pretty one right here.
Well, I know it's your first time here, but over here is my kind of my Schwinn section. The Schwinn Paramount's a well-renowned bicycle, and we have a couple 88s, we have a couple 72s, an 84. Just big collection of these. I love them.
This is really cool here. You've got the bike with the helmet, the water bottle, even got the Wheaties box with cereal in it.
There's cereal in there, no kidding. This all came as part of a
Jersey.
along with that poster over there, and I promised the person that sold to me that I'd keep it together.
That's
There's
awesome.
another bike shop owner who was really generous in selling these 3 bikes.
What year would you say this bike
This
is?
is an 88.
88.
Yeah.
The year I was born.
Oh, how about that? It is a repaint, and with the team colors. The team was, sponsored by Wheaties, and that's why they're on the box.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at a few more of these Schwinns here.
Kind of unique. This is an 84. They actually started building them in Wisconsin in, I think it was 83. And chrome lugs, actually stainless steel. Kind of fancy. They got fancy for a while.
Now, I am not a vintage bike person, so you're going to have to help me out on some of this stuff. What would you call this group? I know it's Campagnolo.
Campagnolo is pretty much in most of the bikes here because they dominated in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. And this is a triple crank, which you've seen once in a while with a long cage derailleur. It's set up for touring, but honestly, it's not a real touring bike. Something you do in a century ride, something like that. And these bikes were built for bling. They had a lot of bling to them. Yeah, kind of fancy.
Now, in this era, was it just Campagnolo? Was this record, Nouveau record, something like that? Or was
Great
it?
question. It's Nova record and Super record mix, like the rear
Okay.
derailleur. Super record with a long cage was really, really rare. And because usually they would have a rally derailleur, I'll show you over there. But the triple crank, the double drilled large flange hubs, I wouldn't tour on those. They're not as strong.
So they didn't really do much labeling on them then. You kind of had to just know your way around it,
You
huh?
gotta know your way around. Exactly.
Let's look at the lugs up here real quick before we move on.
Yeah, they stopped doing chrome lugs. That was actually a special order. Richard Schwinn said that's nuts. He didn't know that even existed. And but back in the day, they always chromed the lugs, such as this one here. The whole bike's chromed.
That's a pretty one.
Yeah. And as an example, here's what the rest of them look like. It's the same model year.
I'm
They
sure
always
everyone's seen that color before.
Yeah, Campus Green, one of the most famous colors they did. Just had it repainted. And this
Beautiful.
they have the chrome lugs, which pretty much they all did back in the 70s and before. And when Waterford Cycles started building them up north, they got rid of the chrome. Now this is the anniversary edition with the gold fork.
That's absolutely beautiful.
It's crazy, right? The parts are all anodized gold. I wish they matched a little bit better. And then the previous owner actually gold plated some of the small bits. These are actually gold plated. Did that back in the 80s when it wasn't $2,000 an ounce.
Tell me about this G and this Garden?
Gardein.
Gardein?
That was a unique thing. Gardein was a frame builder and a distributor up in Canada, and decided to customize a group by doing a gold anodization. Some people think it's a little out of place having Gardein stuff on a Schwinn, but you know, it is what it is.
Those Delta brakes are awesome.
Yeah, they are. Not the best performing, but boy, they look cool. Actually, Campagnolo wasn't the best performing group out there. When the Dura 7400 group came in and really unseated Campagnolo as a leader in terms of performance. They always have the best bearing races and the most durability, but boy, that group that's on that bike over here really changed everything. And they unseated Campagnolo as the chosen parts to be putting on a racing bike. The index shifting was superb, the braking, everything, the finish. You know, build quality was great, and Campagnolo, in my opinion, never recovered from that.
So of the bikes you have here, and we're going to get to a lot, he's got a lot of stuff in here. How many of these are repainted or original? Are the majority of them original, or?
Oh boy, that was repainted decades ago. That used to be just white.
Okay.
That's hard to say. This is a repaint. It was beat up. What do we got here? Yeah, most of these are stock. Rumor has it that Colnago was repainted. The reason why we know that is they didn't paint that well in Italy back in the day, so it looks really good. So it almost has to be a repaint. Yeah, there's a couple more that's repainted. I got a couple upstairs and that we'll go over. But most of the time, I try to keep them stock. Most of these are garage queens.
Yeah, well, yeah, they all look amazing. This is a Superior here.
Yeah, that's actually a Paramount frame made by a guy named Don Maitland up in Wisconsin. When Schwinn couldn't produce enough frames, they'd go to him to build them. Yeah, pretty cool. That was bought at one of the George Garner stores.
And this is Nouveau Record also.
Yeah, I changed that. That was a different derailleur, but I did that. Should have been Grand Sport. Now, Grand Sport was just a lesser group with less polish. You can take a look at this arm as compared to any of the other Campagnolos that you've seen.
So a lot of these bikes, you kind of tailor them to how you want them with parts or upgrade them a little bit.
A little here and there, but I try to keep it in apropos, you know?
Yeah, and definitely period correct.
Mostly.
Yeah.
There's some modern rims on a couple bikes because I ride them and I want them to ride well.
That's cool. What percentage of these would you say you ride? Is there just a handful, or?
If you see a clipless pedal on it.
Oh, there you go. There's the tell.
There's a good chance, yeah.
I was going to ask about that because I noticed on this one here, the first one we saw there, that the pedals are definitely not to period, but that means you must ride it at least a little bit, huh?
Yeah, no, if you look at the 88, it doesn't have, it has clipless.
That's got
they're vintage. I don't ride that one. I haven't ridden it yet.
What are these Deltas? Oh, Mavic.
Mavic pedals from back in the day.
Yeah, those are cool.
That's a different cleat than the new looks that I'm currently using.
Yeah.
This one I just had painted and put it back together. You can see my video about a month ago from me building this. Still haven't ridden it.
Awesome.
That chrome one's got a lot of miles on it. This is not my size. Once again, vintage looks. I don't ride that.
Yeah.
Love that bike.
It's a real little one, that Pinarello.
That's a 54 or a 21 inch. I prefer a 58 or 60. But yeah, these definitely get ridden.
Mercians here.
Yeah, those are made in Derby, England.
Wow.
Spelled Derby, but it is Derby. And they're known for their lug work. If you look at the little clovers in those.
Yeah, that's real cool.
And then if you look at here, the scrolling is nuts. Yeah, that's the Vincitori. If you look around the front, you can see more of the scrolling.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and that's what made that bike famous. They still make them today. This is a new old stock 1980, and today you get the same exact frame.
Wow.
With a couple variations, of course, but.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Raleigh Professional here.
Yeah, it's from 1980. And I have a 74 of the same exact bike in a similar color. I actually like the old one better. You know, the fastback stays, how they come up, as opposed to that one there. And unfortunately, that's kind of an Edelman era. They started building bikes in Japan after this, which are not horrible. But I love bikes that were built by the company that said they built them. Here's an example, for instance, the Specialized LA. This is actually made by Giant. It's their first generation. You call it a screw and glue, where they have the aluminum lugs that keep the carbon fiber together. And I just love that bike. Even though it's made by Giant, they really have a great quality frame here.
I've heard stories of these. I don't know about this particular bike, but I know with like some of the Treks that they come unbonded. Have you heard of that before?
Well,
or is that just
I'm not saying
talk?
The Treks, like here's a first generation Trek aluminum.
That's cool.
And they didn't really come apart very often. Now this particular one did.
Yeah.
And Cyril Friend, you'll see him on my channel quite a bit. He was a Specialized rep for myself and your boss back in the day. And after this year, they beefed up the lugs and they changed it because a couple of them were coming apart. And I'm not a small man. And if I ride it, I ride it really lightly. I don't want
For sure.
break
Yeah,
it.
let's talk about this Trek a little bit here.
Well,
That was a
aluminum bikes became
Cooper.
hot when Cannondale, started producing these bikes.
Yeah.
They were mimicking the Klein, which got them in big trouble. But this is Trek's first generation aluminum bike. They were bonded together.
Wow.
But there was full aluminum, and they use the same frame up and
Dura
down the
Ace.
line. Yeah, this is a 7400 Dura Ace. This was a top of the line, about a $2,000 retail back in the day.
What year would you say this is?
That's an 87, I believe.
87.
And I think the very first bike, I think it was an 85. It came in an off-white color called Ecru. Yeah, this dates, the fade job kind of dates it for those who were around at the time.
Yeah.
Fades were hot for a year or two. And that was about it.
Now notice you've got a couple of Schwinn's in here that are a little bit more commonplace. You got a World here. You got a, what is this, a Continental?
Well, that actually...
A Varsity.
Well, this is definitely commonplace. This is a Varsity Tourist I'm redoing. Tourist just meant it had an upright bar.
Oh, okay.
Same as a regular Varsity of its day, but it's such great shape. And people come in here, they always have a story, even if they're not into cycling, that they love the old Schwinn. So I thought I should have one here.
Yeah.
That's a 67. Now these over here...
Yeah, and for all you, anybody watching, we are in Chicagoland. This is the Schwinn capital. You see the stuff all over the place here.
Right.
There's a lot of cult following for Schwinn around here.
Exactly. And I have 3 bikes here. There's a couple that are not here. These are actually made by Panasonic. Schwinn could not compete with their heavy Philip Ray's frames back in the day.
That head badge is awesome.
So starting in '72, they started producing bikes with Panasonic so they could compete with the French and English rivals. So they had a nice lightweight bike. The quality was second to none. And like I said, I like bikes that are built by the companies that said they made them. This is my exception. These are just beautiful bikes, and they perform well, and they're nostalgic. When I worked at a bike shop in early 80s, these were the 2 top-line bikes on the sales floor.
Those are cool.
Yeah, this one might be going across Ohio. I'm going to do a vintage bike tour across the state on the Ohio and Erie Trail.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
And that's a Cinelli. That's me retro modded.
Let's talk about these Italian birds up here.
Yeah, that one's nuts.
That's a beautiful bicycle.
I actually
I've
got-
got a soft spot for Bianchis.
In Celeste Green.
And especially in Italy, they have to be Celeste green.
Yeah.
I mean,
That bike's unique because it was new old stock. New old stock cockpit, seat post, saddle, wheels are all new old stock. The component group, the drivetrain is not. It's going to get a new old stock Regina chain once I get one. But that has never been ridden. But I am going to ride that bike. It's just too cool.
that stem.
Yeah, that is a triple T stem with the Bianchi chronograph.
That is cool. Specialissima.
Oh yeah, it's sharp. And what's unique about that is it's new old stock, and which is rare because those bikes, if you look at it, there's no chrome,
Yeah.
which means these were raced, they were ridden hard, and
Yeah.
they're beat.
I gotta ask, who stitched the handlebars?
Not I.
That is craftsmanship right
I
there.
bought it all from the same guy, and yeah, I'm not that good at it.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a really good job. Colnagos, that's my favorite brand. Some people, it's kind of the Nickelback of bicycles. They're kind of overplayed.
Oh.
They're overplayed. I love them though, and people do love them.
Yeah.
But some people roll their eyes because like there's so many out there. This one here is called a Super Profile, and it's from the early '80s. The team is called the team colors is the Cerrone.
Okay.
It's like a rice Cerrone. The Cerrone colors were famous, and I guess he won some world championship in '82 or '83 with that color, and it's just beautiful. That is probably a repaint, and then I added some of the pantograph here.
Now, is this has the clover tubing?
That actually, actually, this one has seams on the top.
Oh, there's okay.
Yeah, and the top and the down too.
Oh, there's a master over there.
And there's the that's the tubing you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Which is like a clover shape, if you will. It's not round at all.
Yeah, I don't know how well that shows up on camera, but
it doesn't really
such cool tubes they use on these bikes. I've always liked the Colnago Masters. And do they still make one?
They still make the Master and another one called the Arabesque.
Okay.
And I really would like an Arabesque, but those frames new are like $3,400, and I don't know. Then you put modern components on it, which I don't know if they'll look right with Arabesque frames. So
yeah,
we may have it one day.
Yeah, got some Gerchodis down here. Am I butchering that name?
I don't know. I think you are. I get accused of butchering these names more than you do.
I've heard Garocchiotti. I've heard Gerciotti.
I don't know.
Hey, leave it down in the comments if you know how to say that. Although I won't be able to read it properly.
Yeah, you spell it phonetically.
Spell it phonetically for us.
People say it's Gerciotti. It's
Gerciotti. Yeah.
I have another bike that's not here called a Chooch.
Chooch.
CIOCC. And everyone argues about how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I would have called that a choach.
And I did that all my life until I heard the actual builder of the frames, the inventor, say the name. And it's Chooch.
Chooch.
So when people argue, I have a video on my channel, if you want to go look at it, how to pronounce Chooch. And it's basically saying, hey, let's stop arguing about it. Here's the inventor of the bike. Here's the artist. Say it like he said.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much a rite of passage for any Italian brand. You know, how many times I heard Bianchi or Bianchi or,
Yeah, I heard all that. I can't say that I'm the best arbitrator, but it's correct.
Right.
You only know what you know.
Right.
So I love my viewers. They come to the channel and they say, hey, you're doing this wrong. And I'll say, that's fantastic, thanks.
Well, here's another one. Do you say Cinelli or Cinelli?
That's a Cinelli.
You say Cinelli. Yeah. I would have said Cinelli.
Yeah, and that's going to be rebuilt with modern parts. All those parts are going on a 1995 GT aluminum frame.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to be built with like a 10 or 11 speed Campanello group. Not a new one, but maybe a few years old.
Yeah, this is not that old of a group. It can't be
This is,
Chorus.
Early 2000s. And
Okay.
It's spaced correctly, so it's modern spacing. So I could put a modern group on it.
Okay, these brakes look older.
Yeah, that's some monoplaners. Those are definitely older.
Yeah, that's not.
Those might be late 80s actually.
Yeah.
I actually lost interest the second Brifters came out. As soon as the Brifters came out, I don't see a lot of bikes. This one doesn't have it. However, it has shifters that don't work, which is kind of funny.
Shifters that don't work.
The Campanello made it so hard. Those actually don't work too bad, but that black anniversary model, I can't get it to work. And I challenge anyone that watches my channel. I said, hey, come on over, I'll buy a dinner, buy a lunch, check out the collection, and make that thing shift properly. I'll pay you $100 and a dinner. No one's taking me up on it.
Really?
I don't blame them.
That's interesting because this kind of stuff seems so simple. You know what I mean? It's levers, it's fewer gears, it's wider chains. As long as the cables are clean and routed properly, you think that there's really nothing you can go wrong. But you'd be surprised every now and then there's something that just isn't working right. You hope it's not a compatibility issue, but there really wasn't that many options back then.
Well, that goes back to our story, how the 7400 Dura-Ace group destroyed Campanello. So Campanello, in their haste, hurried up and put together an index system. I actually bought an Athena version of that back in the day when I sold Cannondales. Never worked, and I can't get that one to work. They did a lousy job. That is why Shimano unseated Campanello.
Interesting.
Then when Brifters came out, they did a better job, much better job. And I have a couple Campanello bikes. I have one over there from 2016, and I love this stuff.
This one here. Now, this is the one you just did the video on, right?
Just did a video on this. If you want to check it out on the channel, it's within the
Yeah.
last week or so. I just posted that video yesterday on a Raleigh.
Yep, saw that
is
one.
a Japanese-made Raleigh, actually marketed by Huffy Bicycles.
The bar tape and the saddle were a good choice.
Oh, thank you.
I know you were asking about that on your video.
And I bought this actually from your store in 2016 at Millray Cyclery, and
That's cool.
It's Chitalian.
Nice.
Well, Mazzi is an Italian brand, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Now it's a decal.
Yeah.
And it's made in China, so I say it's Chitalian. So, but beautiful chrome everywhere. The lugs, the bottom bracket shell, with a modern, 2016 modern Campagnolo 10-speed group. So
Did the bike come specced with the Campagnolo like that?
just like that. I picked
Okay.
it up from your shop.
That's really cool.
Just like this. I changed the saddle and the stem to look more retro, even though it's in a threadless system. Velo Orange had this
I've
stem.
never seen that.
I want it to look more vintage. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason.
That seems like something Velo Orange would make.
But I've ridden this on your ride a few times and did a
Nice.
great job on it. It performs super.
That's really cool. All right, well, I got to ask, because this is kind of an oddball in the shop here. What is this?
Well, that is actual Harley Davidson licensed product. Back in the mid-90s, 1995 to be exact, an executive from Harley Davidson was on the beaches in Huntington Beach, California, and saw the GT and Dyno cruisers that were out. He said, "That what a great idea." So he called up GT and said, "Hey, let's collab and come out with a line of bikes. They kind of had a good, better, best. This is the good." And there's built by GT Bicycles.
Did you sell these back in the day?
I did. Yeah, this one has a really quick, unique story. It's interesting to me. I built this bike in 1995 and it went up in the rafters at the Northbrook store, George Garner's Northbrook store. And then years later, about 7 years ago, I got this off of Craigslist and I asked him where he got it. He goes, "This thing's been hanging up in Northbrook, Illinois since 1995. I said, "Dude, I built that bike."
That's
So
awesome.
I had to buy it. It was so cool. And they had a good price on it.
That's awesome.
I use it around here to get around the complex.
You used to rep GT back in the day. Yeah.
From 89 to 99, I was your GT rep. Well,
That's awesome.
Bruce's.
Yeah. That's before me. Well, John, I appreciate you showing us around and letting me come out and take a look. I've way overdue on coming out here. This is pretty
About
cool.
time you made it out. You did.
So tell us a little bit about your channel.
Comfort TV for vintage bicycle enthusiasts. I build bikes, tear them down, rebuild them. Not like your other channels where they just do it. I'm kind of chatty and teach you a little bit here and there. Also, you can leave comments in the comment section because I learn a lot on that channel. I'm going to be doing a bike tour this year on a vintage bike, which I'll film. I do road trips to maybe bike swaps, kind of make it interesting. Matter of fact, my next video, Richard Schwinn's going to get to do an interview with Richard Schwinn, which is fun. And then I do things like this. This is a bike I picked up at a bike swap, and it just needs some work. You know, it needs to be cleaned up, overhauled, and on top of that, there's some chainline issues. And so it's a little mechanical, not over the top, but yeah, this is a fun bike.
Yeah, this is one of the most unique bikes I've ever seen for sure.
Well, it's a tandem built bicycle and it is a single bike. In other words, the spacing and all the parts you'd see on a tandem, like dual rear brakes,
That's awesome.
oversized headset here, a tandem fork, 48 spokes, which is just ridiculous. So the guy that built this bike was loaded down. He was going cross country.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to see more about this one, John's going to be doing a video on it pretty soon here. And like I said, all his videos are real awesome. So check them out. Like and subscribe. We're going to be doing more videos just like this one in the future. So we'll see you next time. All right. Back into the cold. See you, John.